What are some guy tips you think every man should know? Learn how to recognize terrible advice in threads like these. This is how I learned what sex is. Brush your teeth every day. Use mouthwash. People won't tell you that you smell like a goat. They will tell others. Brush in the evening to keep your teeth. And brush in the morning to keep your friends. You're not invincible. Drink some water. Don't drink to impress others. Wish I knew that when I was younger. Drink to impress yourself. It's easier to stay in shape than to get in shape. Learned this the hard way as I am slowly starting to work out again. And it hurts the ego twice as much a former cross and track runner who can't do a mile. Don't underestimate the power of smelling good. Perfume is to be discovered, not announced. Found this in another post and thought it was quite good. The woman serving you at the shop is smiling at you because she's been told to smile at customers. She's not hitting on you. This 100%. I managed a men's retail brand and some of the female staff get hit on by guys who think they are helping them because they find attractive. Know when to walk away. Take care of yourself. Be strong when others are hurting. Know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. After growing up with no male figure in my life, it's taken a lot of trial and error, but I'm mid-30s and married now, and this is what I would pass down. You will never ever win against emotions. If you try to hold any feeling back, it will either win or manifest into something else later on. If you're angry, leave the situation until you have calmed down. If you're upset, go and have a cry. No one worth worrying about is going to judge you for crying. Don't argue for the sake of it. The second you realize you're wrong, admit it. If the other person won't consider what you are saying, just say okay and leave. Know where your limits are when drinking. Personally, I don't have enough willpower to stop drinking when I should. Meaning I do stupid shit or get angry. Easy solution for me: don't drink. If anyone asks, I just tell them I don't drink. No more explanation needed. Only speak when you need to. Keep quiet and listen until you have something worthwhile to say. Being able to keep silent is almost a superpower. You would be amazed how many situations can be sorted without having to say anything. Keep to your word. Nobody wants to be known as a liar or unreliable. Keep on top of your basic hygiene. Shower every day and once a week give your beard body hair a trim. If you can only grow a patchy beard, then just go clean shaven or well trimmed. If you are lucky enough to be able to grow a full beard, make sure you look after it. Beard oils. Brush it and regularly cut it. Smelling good is great, but only people in your close proximity should be able to smell you. Overdoing it on aftershave is not only expensive, but it has the opposite effect to what you want. It's not a woman's job to keep the house tidy. This goes for single guys and married. This came from the days of men working 40 hours a week and their wives staying home to do the housework. Chances are now that your wife will be working the same amount of hours as you. So why do you expect her to do everything while you sit there watching TV? Most jobs can be done in under 15 minutes if you keep on top of it. For younger, single guys, all those wank rags you have hidden under the bed or wherever you keep them absolutely stink. Use tissue and throw it in the bin straight after. Open some windows to get some fresh air in and make sure you're changing your bedding at least once a week. Learning to change a wheel is a worthwhile skill to have. Loosen all the nuts while the car is on the floor. Jack it up. Change the wheel and then hand tighten the nuts back on. After the car is on the floor, tighten the nuts back up, going to the diagonal nut next rather than in order. Also, never go under a car that is jacked up. That's what axle stands are for. Don't be afraid to voice your opinion if it is needed, and don't talk about someone behind their back without making sure it's not something you would say to their face. You don't have to be emotionless, drink and like football to be a man. Just be yourself and have confidence in what you are saying, doing. Give everyone you meet the respect you would expect yourself, but don't be a doormat. If someone keeps taking but refuses to give, then cut them out or keep interactions as short as possible while being polite. I'm sure there's plenty of other things I have missed, but this post is long enough as it is. One alternative to that: never try to win against an emotion, but be very careful on who you share those emotions with. Not everyone is your friend, and not every emotion is a positive one. Learned all of these the hard way. Don't use a lint shaver on your balls. I'm going to need more info in regards to this advice. Hair conditioner helps keep butt crack hairs from tangling. Wait, for real? Every man should read. It will give you advantages in every situation you face. Listen actively. Most of appearing charming is just proving to people that you paid attention and genuinely heard what they were saying. Plus you'll learn things which can give you advantages everywhere. Be courageous with your compliments and cowardly with your criticisms. Learn to take effective breaks. Stress saps strength. Learn how to communicate well. Life might give you more than lemons if you know how to ask. Take your time to aim, but shoot when you've got the shot. Ride the wave. When things don't go your way, mitigate the damage and let it pass. When they do, give it your all. Always be gracious. Take time to be grateful. Studies have shown out of hedonism, self-serving, altruism, helping others, and gratitude. Gratitude actually is the most powerful in increasing joy and happiness. Know what and when to give up. Learning how to apologize when it's your fault, and how to not apologize when it's not your fault. Never set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Is it okay to set others on fire to keep yourself warm though? Stop your friend from getting too far out of hand. If they're your friend, they would listen and you could prevent a ticking time bomb. Also, listen to your friend if they tell you are getting out of line. Lots of stupid fights come from someone that thinks that it's a good to go too far and make a fight more inevitable. The number of times I have had friends freak out on me cause I was trying to talk them down LMAO. 90% of the time it didn't work in the moment, but they would always apologize the next day. Wear a sunscreen. This applies to everyone, not just men. UV rays are the devil. Don't text a girl you like more than twice without a response. This is a good one. Might not sound as a guy tip, but that's something I felt a lot in my youth trying to fit into the standard of a teenager. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they do. Get off your high horse and just chill out. Take it easy. Overthinking is 99% false speculation and you mind playing out every scenario for you. You are just another person going through and nobody's talking about that one embarrassing thing you did 2 years ago and that cool thing you said a year ago. Just live your life without thinking about other people's opinions. That said, don't just not care about all of other people's opinions. You probably want to care about the opinion of the people who matter to you. Know your junk. Keep an eye out for changes. Also keep it all clean. If your homie dies you have to delete his search history. If he dies in the gym, learn to differentiate between love and lust, connection and desire. And don't put someone on a pedestal. Be logical. Stimulate the clit. The Coalition for the Liberation of Itinerant Tree Dwellers. Never wear too much cologne. That is just as bad as having body odor. As a wise man said, it's meant to be discovered, not announced. Keep a clean home. Clean your tongue. Floss. Brush your teeth. Edit. I am not anything close to a dentist. So please ask an expert or do your own research. If you search tongue cleaners on Google, the top searches are good tools to use to clean your tongue. My tip for flossing is to take about 15-20 centimeters of floss and tie the ends together making a loop. This gives better control in flossing. Also, as pointed out by other replies, using interdental brushes are good replacements for flossing. I use both. Always nut before texting your ex. You actually have to soap your balls and between your butt cheeks. Flip the burger as many goddamn times as it needs. Uncle Jerry's one flip rule is gonna give mom E. coli. Learn to cook something fancy. Easy way to impress a date is with cooking skills and you actually learn about your freaking food. Man, I thought you were still talking about balls until learn to cook. And the E. Put time into learning how to manage your money when you're in your early 20s. Learn at least the basics of cooking. Learn how to fix basic things on your car. Learn how to fix basic things in your house. Find a way to do a long road trip before you get married or have kids. If you can quit your job and you're no longer renting and just living out of a car and a tent, it can be a cheap way to see the country because you're no longer paying rent and utilities. Did this as a nurse and it was amazing. Highly recommend the drive from Anchorage to Homer in Alaska, the drive from Jasper down to Banff and into Yellowstone, and the drive down the Pacific coast. Every time these posts pop up, it's always wash your balls and brush your teeth. If you think basic freaking hygiene is a tip, you're not very helpful. You should already know the basics of cooking, you know, to survive, but you should make time to learn 1 or 2 dishes that could really impress company. This skill can be used for a nice simple date or just when you're hosting a party or something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, just something that looks like you put thought and effort into it. Also, and this is going to sound kind of silly, But if you're a single male and you maintain a healthy fruit basket in your kitchen, it makes you look a little more put together. I don't know if there are any psychological studies about it, but I always got compliments in my early 20s. It was never anything fancy, just some bananas, apples and oranges. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is that you eat them and have fruit in your diet. Oh, and one last final thing. Know when to be cheap with money and know when the extra dollar might go a long way. This is especially true with tools. Harbor Freight is fine for some things, but honestly you'll save a lot more money long term with a slightly more expensive but better tool set. Like the meal tip above. Doesn't have to be fancy, just good. Oh, and one last final thing. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Baz Luhrmann might have said it best. Wear sunscreen. Probably the hardest thing to do is be courageous. Stand up for yourself and others. Don't be afraid what other people think. Avoid fist fights.